Hideo Kojima is a genius. Ever since I first experienced Metal Gear Solid 4, I was in awe at how Kojima approaches the way he makes video games. The games he develops are such unique experiences that you really can't find anything like them anywhere else. Kojima games aren't everyone's cup of tea though, to be honest. For some, it's hard to get into that stealth gameplay that's become so iconic across the Metal Gear series, as you can't just go guns blazing into encounters, especially on harder difficulties. The intricate stories in his games also can be a huge barrier to entry. There are so many different names and organizations to keep up with that everything gets confusing really fast, even if you've been playing the series in order, which I didn't do, so imagine how much worse it was for me. I mean, oh my god. Oh, my brain overload. Oh, make it stop. So, it's really no surprise to me now that Kojima's latest love child, Death Stranding, has come out with critics giving the game mixed reviews. IGN gave the game, wait for it, a 6.8. Wow. Now, looking at the game's Ogilvy, alright, you know what, screw it. Looking at the games Tristan has reviewed, he hasn't given out above an 8 in all of his 3 years at IGN. The closest game that came to a 9 that he's reviewed was Disney Infinity 3.0 edition. Okay, alright, you know what, let's not go down this road. But at a quick glance from the games that he has reviewed favorably, this reviewer strikes me as one who enjoys games kinda casually, someone who wants to sit down, relax, and play through a game without having to be annoyed by repetitive mechanics or things of that nature. And to be honest, a lot of what he described in his review seemed to be really tedious. Managing cargo, making sure not to run too quickly so as not to fall over, keeping your balance on unsteady terrain, keeping the cargo in good health as it becomes damaged when you fall, inventory management. Those are some in-depth mechanics to have to keep track of, and honestly, making mechanics that don't need to be all that complex can become frustrating fast. I mean, I'm playing a video game over here. What if I don't want to have to worry about all this stuff? And I have to admit, sometimes Kojima's choice in game design is really unique, and some of the things he comes up with are extremely innovative. That camo suit that adapted to terrain in Metal Gear Solid 4, woo, that thing was so awesome. But then there are other times where it's like, whoa, Kojima, what are you doing? I hated how Metal Gear Solid 5 was structured in its rigid mission-by-mission basis. Go here, kidnap this guy, get him to this helicopter, do the next mission, same thing, rinse and repeat. And from what I can tell in Death Stranding, you play a courier that carries cargo from point A to point B for 50 or so hours for plot-related reasons, and that's the gameplay. I mean, sure, there are a few things here and there to spice up the gameplay, like having to stealth past BTs and using bridge babies to help you detect them, and even the ability to combat BTs and infiltrate enemy camps later in the game. But at its core, you're a courier, and this reflects Kojima's approach to game design. If Kojima wants you to sit in a corner to wait for an alert to go off for potentially hours at a time so you don't get caught, then that's what you're gonna do. If you're playing as Sam and he's struggling with all this stuff on his back, you're gonna be right there with him, pressing the buttons and struggling along with him. He's your own personal bridge baby, for crying out loud. I mean, weight, balance, cargo damage, terrain and weather conditions, the whole shebang. And the frustration that you can and probably will encounter with this game is purposeful, believe it or not. These mechanics weren't put in place to make the game fun. Oh no, Kojima wants you to suffer. The reason these mechanics are present is to make you immersed in the game's world. Kojima knows how to tell stories and get you immersed in the game's plot, and if it's one thing I stress in my videos, it's that telling your story through gameplay is key to immersion. If these gameplay elements were missing, you wouldn't have to struggle as much to carry all that equipment from place to place. But realistically, Sam is ripping off toenails from all the walking he's doing and falling over himself all the while carrying 100 plus pounds across arduous terrain. Yeah, he's gonna drop some stuff, he's gonna damage cargo, and he's even gonna lose some along the way. Imagine trekking for hours just to damage some cargo so bad that you can no longer deliver it. And you think, oh my gosh, you know, what a waste of time that was. Why couldn't the game have just made this part easier? But that's honestly just part of the experience. And yes, before you guys say anything, I can totally see this becoming frustrating for the player, and I can totally understand Tristan's frustration as well. I feel weird calling him that. I don't know how to say his last name. But like I said before, I dare say Kojima wants you to feel that frustration. And that's why Death Stranding isn't for everybody. I can already tell the game's not necessarily meant to be fun, rather it's trying to tell a story. And some stories just aren't meant to be heard by everyone. Regardless, I have to say I respect the fact that IGN gave the game a bad review. It's clear here that there are elements that our boy Tristan just didn't find enjoyable, and his review reflected that. Taking a look at some of these other reviews, they didn't have many good things to say about it, but still gave the game like a 90. I'm not going to go too deep into this, as there are plenty of other videos covering that topic, but reviews are a subjective experience. I will say that critics should not be giving the game such a high score if they can't even tell me what they enjoyed about the game, as a lot of these high scores were probably done to avoid the inevitable mob that clearly dislike bombed the IGN review for a game they haven't even played yet. At the end of the day, this game is not for everyone, but I can't wait to experience the game for myself. The game comes out on Friday, so who knows, maybe you'll see me streaming it here on the channel, so definitely subscribe to stay tuned for that, or a bridge baby's gonna haunt you in your sleep.